I still smell the turkey roasting, the rosemary sharp in the air, when I walked into my own dining room and saw her, my son-in-law's mother, Diane, planted in the chair I'd sat in for 23 Christmases. My name card, the one I'd handwritten in gold ink, lay crumpled on the floor like a used napkin. "Priorities," she said, not even looking up from her phone. "My name is Evelyn Harper. I'm 68, widowed 12 years, and that single word, priorities, cut deeper than any knife on the table. Let me take you back, slow as the snow that drifted past the window that day, so you feel every flake land on my skin. The house smelled of cinnamon and pine. I'd been up since 4, rolling dough for the Parker House rolls my late husband, Tom, used to steal straight from the oven. My fingers, knotted with arthritis, still remembered the rhythm. Fold, press, turn. The radio played low, Bing Crosby dreaming of a white Christmas, while I peeled potatoes into a bowl of cold water that turned cloudy with starch. I hummed along, off-key, the way Tom always teased me. Outside, the Virginia snow muffled the world, and inside, the tree lights blinked red, green, red, like a heartbeat. I'd set the table the night before, the good china with the holly border, the silver Tom's mother left me, cloth napkin folded into swans. My seat, always at the foot, closest to the kitchen so I could jump up for gravy or seconds, was marked with that little card. Evelyn, in my own looping cursive. I'd even tucked a sprig of rosemary under it for luck. The kids arrived in waves. My daughter, Claire, first, cheeks pink from the cold, carrying the baby. My grandson, little James, all chubby wrists and drop route. She kissed my cheek, said, "Mom, it smells amazing," and I believed her. Then Mark, my son-in-law, arms full of wine and excuses about traffic. Last came Diane, his mother, in a red coat too bright for the room, her perfume arriving before she did. I bustled, refilling water glasses, passing the cranberry relish I'd canned in August when the berries were tart and perfect. The table filled. Claire, Mark, Diane, my son Daniel and his wife Sarah, their twins squealing over coloring books. 12 places. I counted twice. My chair was gone. Diane sat where I always sat. Her plate already held a slice of dark meat, skin crisp the way Mark likes it. I stood there, apron still tied, holding the gravy boat like a question mark. "Evelyn?" Diane said, finally glancing up. We needed the space for the high chair. Priorities. She smiled the way people do when they've already won. Claire wouldn't meet my eyes. Mark laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Mom, grab the folding chair from the garage. It's fine." The garage, where Tom's old toolbox, rusted, where I'd stored the Christmas decorations alone since he died. The metal chair, paint-chipped, cold as the snow outside. I set the gravy down. My hands didn't shake. Not yet. Let me tell you about the years that led to that moment, because betrayal doesn't bloom overnight. It grows in the cracks you ignore. I remember Claire at 6, chickenpox itching under her nightgown, me sponging her forehead with calamine while Tom worked double shifts at the mill. I remember Daniel's college tuition, my night classes cleaning offices so he could study engineering without loans. I remember the down payment on their first house, the one with the crooked mailbox. I signed the check with a pen that skipped, but I signed it anyway. Tom had just been diagnosed. The cancer was quiet then, a cough we blamed on sawdust. I remember Diane's first visit after the wedding. She toured my kitchen like a health inspector, opened the fridge, sniffed the milk. "Mark's lactose intolerant now," she announced, as if I'd poisoned him for 8 years. Claire laughed along. I started buying almond milk, then gluten-free flour, then organic everything. My grocery bill doubled. My Social Security didn't. I remember the cruise they all took last summer. Claire's text, "Mom, we're celebrating Mark's promotion. You understand." I understood. I watered their plants, forwarded their mail, slept in their king bed that swallowed me whole. Came home to my own house, echoing. I remember the will. Tom and I wrote it together, coffee cooling between us. Everything to the kids, equal shares. The house held in trust until they needed it. After he died, Claire asked, gently, always gently, if I'd consider signing it over early. "For the grandkids' college, Mom." I did. The lawyer's office smelled of lemon polish and finality. Back to Christmas. The folding chair scraped across the hardwood as I dragged it in. Snow melted off my slippers. I sat at the side, between the twins' booster seats, my plate balanced on my lap. The gravy had cooled into a skin. Conversation flowed around me like I was a rock in a stream. Diane told the story of Mark's new Tesla, how she'd co-signed, how proud she was. Claire nodded, eyes shining. Daniel asked about the heated seats. I chewed turkey that tasted of nothing. After pie, my pecan, the one Tom called sin in a crust, they migrated to the living room. I cleared plates, scraped leftovers into Tupperware that would go home with them. Diane's voice carried. Evelyn, you don't mind if we take the rest of the ham? Mark's watching his carbs, but... I stacked dishes in the sink. The water ran hot, steam fogging my glasses. My reflection in the window looked like a ghost. That night, after they left, kisses that missed my cheek, promises of soon, I sat at the kitchen table with Tom's old ledger. The one where he tracked every nail, every board for the deck he built me. I opened my laptop instead. The screen glowed blue on my face. First, the will. I'd never updated it after signing the house over. My lawyer, Margaret, picked up on the second ring despite the holiday. Ev, it's Christmas. I told her what I needed. She didn't argue. Next, the bank. The account I'd added Claire to in case something happens. I removed her name while the balance still showed the Christmas club I'd saved for their gifts. $4,200, gone to my new account before dawn. The locks. Tom's friend Ray came at 8 a.m. on the 26th, hungover but kind, new deadbolts, shiny brass. I kept the old keys in a bowl by the door like seashells. I packed one suitcase, the quilt my mother pieced, Tom's navy photo, the rosemary plant from the windowsill. The rest, the china, the silver, the swan napkins, I left. Let them fight over ghosts. Claire called on the 27th. Mom, the key doesn't work. Her voice shook, the way it did when she was 8 and lost her library book. I was drinking. Coffee on a friend's couch in Richmond, watching Cardinals at a feeder. I changed the locks. Silence. Then Mark in the background. What the hell? Claire again, softer. It's my house, Mom. You signed it over. No, I said. I signed over the deed. The house is yours. The home was mine. Diane. Got on the line, shrill. This is elder abuse. We'll call the police. Do, I said. They'll see the new will. Everything to the Children's Trust. Administered by Margaret now. You get the furniture? Congratulations. I hung up. My hand didn't shake. They came to Margaret's office in January, faces blotched from cold and anger. Claire cried. Mark yelled about lawsuits. Diane clutched her purse like a shield. I sat across the mahogany table, wearing the pearl necklace Tom gave me on our 25th, symbol of promises kept. Margaret slid the papers over. Sign here, Evelyn. I did. My signature steady, the pen gliding like it had when I wrote Evelyn on that Christmas card. Claire reached for my hand. I let her hold it just for a moment. Her fingers were cold. Mom, please. We didn't mean... You did, I said. And I let you. That ends today. I stood. The pearls caught the light. The house is yours. Sell it, rent it, burn it. I've taken what matters. I walked out into January sun, weak but honest. The air smelled of wood smoke and possibility. Now I live in a cottage by the James River. 1 bedroom, wide windows, a porch where rosemary grows in pots. I volunteer at the library, reading to children who smell of crayons and hope. My hands, still knotted, turn pages slow enough for little eyes to follow. Sometimes Claire calls. I let it ring. The voicemail fills with apologies that come too late. I delete them like crumbs from a table. I kept one thing from the old house, the gold ink name card. It sits on my new desk, a reminder. Evelyn. Not mother, not bank, not doormat. Just Evelyn, and every Christmas I set a table for one. The rolls rise golden, the pecan pie bakes slow. I eat at the head, no folding chair in sight. Outside, snow falls soft as forgiveness I no longer owe. Priorities, Diane said. Mine are finally clear.